Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Can It Take a K26, the show where we take a variety of blasters and see if they can be upgraded using a K26 spring. I am your host, Captain Xavier, and as promised last week, today we're going to be covering two Doomlands blasters that have been previously omitted, starting with the Vagabond. The Vagabond was originally released in 2015 as part of the Doomlands series. It is a 6-shot revolver with a lower pump action priming mechanism. It functions similar to the Guardian crossbow or the strong arm in that the cylinder rotates after you fire it, thus allowing for slam fire. It's a neat concept, somewhat of a blocky design, as was kind of seen in most of the Doomlands blasters. Some of the aesthetic choices were a little bit strange. You load it through these grooves in the barrel, and it then fires out of the barrel, which seems like a lot of unnecessary material and potentially drag. But a very neat design and concept, and I've seen some beautiful cosplay and cosmetic work done with these blasters, as is often seen with the Doomlands line, as they are cosmetically very interesting. And I never much cared for the clear parts that allow you to see the internals, but they are at least neat. But what we are curious is, can this thing take a K26? Well, let's find out. Okay, well, as we probably could have inferred just from the view through the side, this is the same internals as a Guardian crossbow. Same style of lock, same style of catch, same rotation mech. And as we already know from both the Guardian crossbow and the strong arm, while K26 will fit and hypothetically K26 will compress and catch, the catch mechanism is unfortunately not strong enough and will eventually break. And in the case of the Guardian crossbow, and therefore this one as well, it isn't so much the catch that is the issue with this particular one, because this one does have a stronger catch than the strong arm. It's the priming mechanism. This connection here, because it is so offset, you can't get enough leverage to actually get it to prime, because you can see how it buckles and it ends up popping loose and coming apart. And unfortunately, that prevents this style of blaster from being able to take something as heavy as a K26. Now, there are any number of upgrades. Pretty much anything that you could put in a strong arm, you could probably put in this as far as aftermarket springs other than K26, ones that are specifically designed for it. And you probably then could get a little bit better performance out of this thing. Which would be nice because, as I said, they are awfully pretty. We're going to put it back together, or we're going to try to put it back together. I do like that most of the shell comes apart into separate pieces, which would make it much easier to paint. Alright, that was a no for the Vagabond, which wasn't a surprise because we already knew that the strong arm and the Guardian... Well, the strong arm can, but it won't last, and the Guardian crossbow can't because of the priming link. And this one has the same priming link, so it can't. On to the next contestant. Our next contestant is the Double Dealer. The Double Dealer was originally released in 2016 as part of the Doomlands series. It is magazine fed, takes 2 magazines on either side, has slam fire. Also, it has 2 magazine holders in the stock. The stock is very short, but I imagine if you had magazines in there, they would kind of get in the way. But it does have some tack rail and is once again cosmetically very nifty. Does have a very smooth prime, though I hear it is very prone to jamming, especially when you try to slam fire it, but I've never actually fired this thing. So let's get it open and see if there's any chance it can take a K26. So, I was actually expecting it to have 2 small plungers, not 1 big one, so that's interesting. I'm not sure where this peg actually came out of. Darn. So it won't fit over the plunger rod, which was not the point of failure I was expecting. We've got to have something, though, that can beef this thing up. All right, well, that's a no for K26, but yes to a spring upgrade. This is a great idea. I mean, I love the idea of a magazine-fed blaster that fires 2 rounds at once, because it's basically a rough cut, but one that can have up to 35 rounds per barrel, which would be amazing. But the execution was not what it could have been. The fact that it uses a single plunger tube, and not a very big one, and one with a huge hole in it, definitely was not in this blaster's favor. Doubling up the spring like that, I definitely feel that it could take more spring load. The priming mechanism is fairly robust, and I may in fact try to put even more in here, or at least something heavier. We'll see. We'll see how much of an issue having those locks removed ends up causing. I don't think it would be that big of an issue, honestly. But we'll see. But no for a K26, so let's recap. Alright, for those of you just tuning in or who just skipped to the end to see the results, that was a no for the Vagabond, but yes to being able to take any spring that a strong arm could take. And that was a no for the double dealer, but yes to a spring upgrade. And this one is definitely going to be getting some more tinkering in the future. I have always liked the idea of it, a magazine-fed double-barrel blaster that was pump action. Definitely like that idea, but there's a lot of little things about it I don't like. Don't like the stock. I would definitely like to try to put a standard stock mount on it. And the plunger tube, while large, has a massive gaping hole in it where you're losing almost all of your power. And when I made some modifications to seal that, I ended up causing some other issues. And so this one's definitely going to get revisited, and I think I have an idea of how I can solve kind of one of the issues, though it vaguely pains me. But stay tuned for that. This one I'm definitely going to revisit. So, yeah. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, requests for future episodes, go ahead and put them in the comments section below. Definitely tune in next week when we will be covering some more vintage blasters. And thank you for watching.